First off, I just want to thank everybody for coming out here this evening and volunteering with the United War Veterans Council again. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me in the back? Yes? Okay. Can you hear me now? Oh, wrong couple. So, my name is Mark Otto. I'm Executive Director of the United War Veterans Council. We've been the custodians of the Veterans Day Parade since about 1985. The parade was resurrected by a handful of Vietnam veterans. Since then, it's built up to what it is today. So each year, we regularly get approximately 25,000 marchers. It is the largest Veterans Day parade in the country. There are only 5 people on our staff. So it's a testament to our volunteers that come through for us every year and keep coming back. I see a lot of familiar faces here, but it's nice to see some new faces as well. So I am a Marine veteran. I've served from 1988 to 1992, fought in Panama, Desert Storm. I'm 6th in my family to serve in war. So to me personally, I can tell you this day means a whole lot, as it does to each and every one of you. So this year is the Centennial of the parade, so it's going to be a big year. You only get one of those in a lifetime. We've actually made some extra efforts. Ryan and I have actually traveled to the Queen's birthday the last 2 years, and we've been mustering support from our allies to come across and march in the parade this year. So the look of the parade is going to be a little bit different this year. One of the things is we're going back into the park for the opening ceremony, for those of you who have been here before. The parade route, you want to switch slides? Okay. So, Ryan, oh, okay. The red dot? All right, so you all can hear me, right? I can walk away. All right, so what you're looking at here for sort of map orientation, down here is the Flatiron buildings. This is 23rd Street going across this way. This is north up here, this is south, this is east, and that is west. So what you're looking at here is 5th Avenue. This is the parade route every year. Basically, the parade route starts officially at 26th Street, right here. However, what you're looking at, you have to sort of envision in your mind. So those of you who are New Yorkers that know 5th Avenue, traffic normally comes down 5th Avenue, right? So you have to sort of envision in your mind the fact that, one, it's going to look very different because there's going to be bicycle barricades going all up and down the parade route, quarantining this area and this area in particular. So here, what you're looking at is the intersection between Broadway coming down this way and 5th Avenue going up this way. This is the movement of the parade. It goes down Broadway and then up 5th Avenue. So it'll go from about 26th Street, and it's going to end at approximately, let's say, 50th Street. We still have to have a meeting with NYPD, and they're really going to dictate where we're going to disperse because that has a lot to do with security and safety. However, to give you an idea, all of the units will be loading on this side and this side of Broadway, and then generally speaking, they will load into Broadway and dump down this way and go up and around. Floats will be here. We have roughly 30 floats in the parade. And then we're also going to have some staging in here and in here. So to give you an idea of what it feels like when you get there on parade day, this is sort of like the parade village area down in here. So you have Madison Square Park, which fills this entire area. And then here, between 25th and 24th Street, is General War Square. And he's still actually buried in there, which is a little creepy, but I'm getting over it. So
sits on top.
Yeah, he does sit on top. You've got a little memorial there. However, here is going to be the red carpet area with the grandstand. So this year, what's going to be different about the parade? In the past, WPIX has filmed the parade, and they've been great to us. But we had to step up when we had the opportunity. So UWVC is going to be filming the parade this year. It'll be on Channel 7. Armed Forces Network will also be streaming the parade as well. So that is sort of the idea of what you're looking at when you get there on parade day and what to expect. Again, It's about 25,000 people, so it's a bit of chaos and pandemonium, especially as everyone's loading in the beginning of the day. So you just have to, if you're not familiar with the area, I would encourage you to get down there and just get eyes on the area. So everything that you need to know about the parade is on our website, so UWVC.org. So Lindsay, our volunteer coordinator and communications head, has done an excellent job about getting that information out to you. So if you have any questions regarding the parade, anything at all, you're going to find it on our website, including the upcoming meetings. They're right there on our front page. So this is 3 of 7?
That's right.
Right. So we're going to have a couple more on-sites as well. I would encourage you to try and make it to one of our on-sites, because there's nothing like visualizing it and seeing it. Because the day of the parade, again, it's a bit of sensory overload. Just because even if you know the area, it's not going to look that way, simply because traffic's going to be shut down. Things are going to be moving south instead of north. There will be bicycle barricades everywhere, and about 25,000 of your best friends will be there too. So, moving on to the next slide. Yep.
So you're not going to be staging from Madison to Fifth like you have in the past? You're not going to use those streets, Madison and Fifth?
The only ones we're talking about with NYPDs is possibly 26th. And Jeff, what's the other one?
Just 26th Street.
Yeah.
That's where the bands and everything is going to be at.
Yeah.
They're putting all the high school bands and everything in there. They're going to be, we lost 27th, but we got 28th.
Yep. For the opening ceremony? Oh, okay. All right. Well, the opening ceremony will take place in Madison Square Park, which is up in here. So just sort of envision green through here. You've been up there. I think it's Shake Shack is in there. This is the area that we're really going to be focusing on. Just for orientation, here on 24th and 5th, right at the edge of the park, is the Eternal Light Flagstaff Memorial. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's actually a giant flagpole with a flag that's been up there that traces back to World War I. For years, it sort of went flickering and then it went dark. And the United War Veterans Council was a big part of the movement to actually turn the light back on. So if you see it, it's a beautiful flagstaff. I think it's about 80 feet high. And the top of it, there's a giant star that's lit up throughout the night, all day and night. So it's from a light flagstaff. So for the opening ceremony there, it's going to be in this area. There is some construction going through in this area. However, we are going to concentrate all the activity in this area. So generally speaking, you can still see there's a path here, right? And that is going to be for our VIPs, their immediate family and friends, and then the mayor's staff is going to be here. There'll be a podium approximately here. And the audience will be all throughout this area. So you have to picture this area. It's going to be approximately 250 to 300 chairs. So a lot of it will be for VIP seating. However, there will be seats open to the public. So if you want to come to the opening ceremony on parade day, it starts at 10:45 in the morning. I would urge you to get there early if you want to get a seat. Otherwise, it's going to be standing room only. But you can stand and do the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony is based upon a wreath-laying ceremony. So a lot of it is going to be your typical speeches. We're going to have our grand marshals will be there. They'll say a few words. City, state officials, and our foreign allies will be there as well. So after the speeches are done, we'll begin the wreath-laying ceremony. So generally speaking, again, over here by the Eternal Light Flagstaff Memorial, we're going to have wreaths lined up on the road here. And then our VIPs will be lined up, and they will march out, and they'll meet their wreaths, which will be carried by J-Rocks. And then they'll place them at the Eternal Light Flagstaff Memorial here. They'll do a photo op. The press will be in this area. And then from there, we'll break. So that'll be about 11:45. So that'll give people a chance to mobilize, because at 12 o'clock, the parade goes live on television. So we have to hit that mark. In the past, one of the things that we haven't been able to do is to mark the moment of the 11th hour, of the 11th day, of the 11th month when the armistice agreement was signed. We have the opportunity this year simply because we're going to start at 10:45. Hopefully everybody takes their seats on time or arrives on time. But at 11 o'clock, we'll make some sort of a pause, and then we'll proceed with the opening ceremony. Are there any questions up to this point? No? Okay. So from here, I think you have the 30,000-foot view. The parade is going to go from on the air from 12 o'clock until 3 o'clock. Again, it's going to move north up Fifth Avenue. Those of you who are going to be wearing different hats as volunteers, I wanted to spend more of the time tonight to allow Lindsay to sort of give you a breakdown of what to expect, because many of you attended the last meeting. The only other thing I want to really add to this is that at approximately 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock, Johnny Utah's, which if you're familiar with it, it's a really fun sort of cowboy bar. It's located in Rockefeller Center. We're going to be hosting a parade after party there. So that after party is only for volunteers and VIPs. So we invite any of you in this room to please come and attend the party. So if you haven't been to Johnny Utah's, it's like a really fun cowboy bar. They literally have a mechanical bull in the middle of it. It's a pretty big space. I expect it will get packed. Normally speaking, for the parade after party, we usually have about roving through there at about 150 people at a time going through. For volunteers, though, between 2 and 5 o'clock, it's going to be free food and drinks. Budweiser is donating 25 cases of beer, so we'll see if we get to that. but the food is also what you would think about, like Americana type pub food as well. You have a question?
So does that mean you're not having the party at the
No, 4 West 43rd Street, we're not going to have it there. So we've sort of made this effort to not be managing events inside events. So by not having it 4 West 43rd, they've been great to us for years. But this way, it's more turnkey. We just tell everybody to show up here at the restaurant and everybody have a good time. So hopefully you'll be able to make it up there.
That's done. Right, is it?
So the marching units, some of them, you have to remember, some of them will step off at noon. So their parade will end much earlier, right? So that's why we're going 2 to 5 o'clock. So by 3 o'clock, pretty much for the marching contingents, it should, for the most part, be done, and people will be able to break off. Again, a lot of the volunteer work is staggered with the time. Some people will be coming early to set up. Some people will be staying later to break down as well. Any other questions? Good.
As far as the volunteer thing goes, is there any dress code or any uniform that we're going to wear so we can, stand out from the crowd?
Yeah.
Control public records or anything that?
So most importantly, be comfortable, right? Dress for the weather. That time of year, you never know what's going to happen. Hopefully it'll get a little warmer in the 50s. However, especially in particular, if you're out there early and you're helping with setup, and it's 6 in the morning or just at 5:30 or something. But it could be in the 20s when you start the day. So you want to think that you probably want to wear layers, right? You can't go wrong with that and just break them down. But for all the volunteers, we're probably going to have safety vests, right? So you will stand out. The please don't run me over vest or break the pillow, so you'll stand out. Question?
In the past, there were units that kept on coming from 5 streets, well past 26, 27. You're saying it's all 5 streets, all 50 Avenue, above 27, whatever, they're not going to be used when you create the orders of that, or saving up what they come down and come around this way?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So this is 25th, this is 26th. So there should be nothing above 28th Street, right? 28th.
They're going to probably be shutting it off at 29th, but we have 28th Street.
But again, if you weren't here last year, was the first time we did it. We'll be staging on the left and right of Broadway, jumping down, and then making the turn going up the avenue. In the past, we used to actually load on the other side as well. We're not doing that except for 26th Street for motorcycles.
No, that's more. Motorcycles aren't on 26th.
Oh, okay.
They're coming down and they're going to swing into 20, they're going to be up on 28th Street.
Oh, so they're going to be.
That's last year's map, by the way.
Okay.
That's last year's map, so don't take that for a beat or anything like that, too.
Okay. Well, all this information is probably mentioned. I mean,
That's last year's map. So don't go by what that, what you see up there. That's true.
It's just slight changes. It's not that big a deal.
He didn't know.
Okay.
He was thinking it was this year's match. It said final parade thing in the bottom left-hand corner.
Okay. Yeah.
In a way, nothing.
Good.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So yes, that's a great point. So what we're doing this year are also different. A lot of it had to do with we have a lot of young folks that come every year for J-Rots, and unfortunately they've never actually gotten a chance to watch the parade because they were always marching towards the end of the parade. So they're always down in the staging area waiting in the line of march to actually go up Fifth Avenue. So one of the things that we thought about doing this year to sort of change things up is they're going to have somewhat of an honor march that when we start the opening ceremony at 11 o'clock, the J-Rots are going to march up Fifth Avenue. So that's going to take up the hour between 11 and 12 o'clock. To give you an idea, there's probably going to be approximately 3,000 of them in total. So that's going to free up some of the logistics and the loading zone and take the stress off of this area. The idea is, though, we're going to get them up the parade route, and as you're saying, at the end of the parade route, we're going to ask them to disperse and fold back. So they're going to become the audience, and we'll get to actually watch the parade, which is great, because they'll be the first ones up there, and then they'll be at the end of the parade, so they'll sort of play people off is what we're hoping for. But you're exactly right. We're going to ask them to sort of rotate. So as the bands line up towards the end, up, let's say, between 45th Street, the public library, up to about 50th Street, the bands will be able to play sort of people off the stage, So I think it's going to be a nice way to end the parade, and it gives the J-Rots a chance to actually watch the parade. Yep. Absolutely. They'll all be briefed. Yep. How far up Broadway? Yeah, so up to 28th Street. So 28th Street, it'll go down to 24th Street. This 24th Street is where most of the floats are going to be.
You can get all those people to use trains and stations for those side streets to be on Broadway only.
We've never gone higher than I think 30th Street, but
29th,
yeah, but in the past we've gone on both sides of Fifth Avenue. So we're going to fit everybody on this side. You have to remember, one of the things that we gain by doing it this way is that the longer streets go all the way out to 6th Avenue. So the streets are longer. So that's why by doing it only on this side all the way up to 6th Avenue, we have a lot more loading space than we had in the past.
We got stage arrival.
Yeah, exactly. So people will be coming in at different various times as well. Any other questions?
There are a lot of marches, so once they arrive, they have to stay there. They can't go to the opening ceremony back.
Yeah, so everyone's going to have their staging time. So we're going to try and get you, let's say, within 45 minutes of when you're actually going to step off that you have to muster. So we say that because depending upon where you are in the line of march, what if we're running early, right? Someone doesn't show up, a band doesn't show up, or the 69th, has a bunch of people that aren't able to actually come to the parade. So those gaps, you need to be ready and on time for your staged arrival times. But that's why we try and have everybody somewhere within 45 minutes of when they're going to march.
But for the most part, when you have pre-opening ceremonies,
Yeah, yeah. So the opening ceremony is 11, but yeah. Any other questions? Okay. I think at this point, if you would mind, we'll just do a little rundown around the room, because hopefully what we're going to do is have some of the network, unless you have other plans for that?
No.
Okay. If you could just sort of either stand up or just say your name, who you are. If you're a veteran, when you served is great. If not, let's say, how did you get connected to the parade? Yes, sir.
Sure, hi. My name is Dino Tutino. I'm not a veteran, but I recently retired and I want to get involved.
Awesome.
So,
Is this your first parade?
yeah, this is my
Thanks for coming.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jeff Swanson, United War Veterans Council, Navy vet from 75 to 81, and I got involved through Samaritan Village program. And now I'm here I'm just setting up guys.
Betsy Montanez, United War Veterans Council, through Team RWD, started volunteering, 5 years ago with you guys?
John Levy, I've seen it on Facebook, the
Awesome.
volunteer, and my father was a Navy veteran, and my grandfather was in the '69.
Cool.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Doug Rubiner, I will be volunteering. This is my third year of World War II Veterans Float with my dad, who this will be his third parade. He's Navy Pacific World War II vet. And the way we learned about the parade, or the way we learned that to be in the parade, and I could then volunteer, 2 years ago we were on an honor flight, Big Apple honor flight with Mark.
Yep.
And he came up to ask my dad to sign in. He had all the World War II vets sign the American flag. Came up to my dad and I said, can my dad be in the parade? He said, absolutely. And so that's how we're involved.
Beautiful.
Hi, I'm Matthew Bryan. I'm Kelly Bryan's son. I was a JROTC commander when I was in high school. Started with the parade then started working for the United War Veterans Council after high school. Worked for about 3 years doing TV land and was here to support.
Kelly Bryan, UWVC, and handle sponsorship and the
Work in the United States Army. Volunteers in United States.
Karen Kane, I'm the president of the New York City chapter of the Daughters of the War of 1812. My father, my brother were both vets, Navy, medical.
Evan, to that,
Who's next?
I'm all on United States Air Force. I'm involved in
That's right. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for coming back.
You're welcome.
Hi, Roger Merriman, I'm a volunteer. I'm looking for a volunteer day. I'm Farron with AT&T. This is the second year we're participating as a sponsor. I'm really looking forward to it. It was a great event last year. I'm Glenn Volpe, I'm with AT&T as well. Served in the Air Force from 88 to 2015. Also part of the AT&T Veterans Employee Group, from the high to the local in the city. The second year is very important to the organization.
I'm Louis Cruz, served in the military for 4 years. Also
Sean McElwain, U.S. Navy, 1988, 1992. I'm also involved in
Dave Johnston, U.S. Navy 9904. SMAC, SMAC vote in RWP. Everybody there for the camera, tries to sign. Third year volunteer.
Awesome.
I've been involved in Lions International.
Thanks for coming back.
years ago.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm doing, I'm doing about 5 years.
UWVC, community references constant, that's my second year. And this all here is searching, this is my fifth.
Take it to share with me. Pat Salem, 13, probably been here for 6 years, volunteering. My father is a World War II Army vet, 101st Airborne. My mother was an Army nurse in Europe. They met and married in France right after the war. And Daddy retired from the Army. But, very proud of him, very happy to work with the veterans.
My name is Al Doyle. I did not serve. My father was a World War II vet. My brother was an Air Force vet. And I'm with the CERT division for
Campaign advance, I'm with 13, probably my fifth year, I did pastors, I did about 6 years. My father was in the crew, my son's currently in the 17th year in the Army. I'm surrounded by veterans.
Mercedes Elias, Marine Corps veteran, 2005, 2016, Afghanistan veteran, so I have March in the parade, my dear you, and volunteer.
Robert Gutto, U.S. Air Force, 8993, was introduced to United War Veterans, American Village in 2010. I volunteered there that year, where Jeff, Kevin, and Matt forced me around, made me do jobs, jumping, and something. Nice to see you guys.
You're going back for more. That's awesome.
And Mr. Terry was there, and they treated me like a family, and they never, I might have missed one or two, maybe. But as my body deteriorates through these last 10 years, I have no legs, no arms left, I can't do physical stuff. But my heart soul's into it, and that's what I mean. So if I can help at some capacity, keep the company there.
We got a spot for it, don't
That's
worry.
why.
We'll give you a megaphone. You can just yell at people all day. Excellent. Thank you. Cool.
I'm so important, I'm a professional certified photographer. I'm covering veterans groups since 2015.
Awesome. Good deal. Thanks so much. So again, the parade's about community. Now you sort of know what hat people wear in here. Hopefully you'll collaborate and talk amongst each other after the event here. So I'm going to turn this over to Lindsay. So she is our volunteer coordinator and communications head. So from here we'll get a bit of a deeper dive of what to expect. Right?
Awesome. So you all got to introduce yourselves, and I'm going to do the same. So my name is Lindsay Mulholland. I have been a volunteer with the parade since 2015. I just looked up the email to see. It was literally a friend of mine from our Daughters of the American Revolution chapter, Knickerbocker chapter, one on each side of a banner. So if you can imagine just the two of us marching up into this past year, if you don't mind, I'd love to show you. We have some other things too. Last year, this is something to kind of look forward to. We'll talk about this a bit later. This is our pass year. I made some of our very nice pins. So as part of my project last year, we went from 2 people at a banner in 2015 to this. Ooh, no. So this is my whole group I did last year. Girl Scouts and DAR. That's basically my wizard swivel. And there's
Oh, you got
flow.
flow.
So yeah, so that's how it grew. So I've been a volunteer since then, and even last year I started with Kelly working on the opening ceremony with our chapter there as well. So that's a little bit about me. 2 things you should know. I like history, so I have genealogy. So I have family going back to every war up until Korea, and then I have uncles that were in Vietnam. So French and Indian War to them. So let's get started. I'm going to run you through how many of you are new again. First, wonderful, great. And I heard a lot of you say that you found it to Facebook, which is wonderful. But here we go, starting here. I'm going to walk you through this just a bit more. Again, this might be a little new, it might be a little different too, but let's get started. So welcome again, about 30,000 parade participants will be in the parade this year, about 30 floats and 200 vehicles, and about 300,000 to 400,000 spectators along the parade route, and then about 10 million from all of the press and ABC that'll be running that this year too. The mission of the United War Veterans Council is to honor and serve America's veterans. We are dedicated to ensuring the public always embraces its commitment to provide all veterans with families and their families with the care, recognition, and opportunities they've rightfully earned. So you'll see, probably if you looked at any of our Facebook, how active we are throughout the year doing other events too. Just for July 3rd, we did the flag unfurling, garrison flag unfurling at the Statue of Liberty, the ongoing weekly health and wellness program, and things of that sort too, and of course the parade for which you're all here. So here's a little bit more information. You've already met Mark, who spoke before, Ryan, who's out of town, Kelly, Jeff, and myself just there. We also have some information here on our volunteer about our board. And then just a reminder, as we participate throughout the parade and anything before then, that we are a non-political organization. Here we have, towards the back here, I always like to stress and keep sharing our links everywhere. If you have a friend or family member or colleague even who is interested or might be interested in volunteering, please send them all of our links because we have a lot of things that are ready to share as well. So I'm going to go back through. If you haven't already seen, we do have several VIPs this year, including Herschel Woody Williams from World War II, Hiroshi or Hershey Miyamura from Korea, Bob Carey from Vietnam, Eddie Ray Desert Storm, Zachary Isbell for post 9/11, and others as well. Again, for the different changes throughout this past year, the parade is moving, instead of being at 11 o'clock, the parade time starts at 12. We have our opening ceremony has been moved into Madison Square Park, which you'll be able to look at some photos to kind of reorient you if you're not too familiar with that 23rd Street area. Also our volunteer check-in as well. One of the other fun perks of being a volunteer, which we're about to announce, that we have a 25% off volunteer participant basically thing here, but if you haven't already checked it out, UWVC.shop, so it's pretty easy to remember. We have all kinds of gear that you can take a look through. We've been putting that out there too. But on social media, on our volunteer toolkit there, you'll be able to access that code and use that today after our event. And also to take a look through, going back to our original website here, you'll see that we've posted quite a bit in terms of all of the actual announcements. So I'll be able to include that so you can put your folks that are also, this evening we'll actually be updating our timeline for the volunteers just to kind of go over how the actual day will run. As a volunteer myself in the past, it gets kind of murky on what your role is. But to start, kind of really good question before regarding what you're going to be wearing. Throughout all of our event details, I always say comfy shoes first and foremost. It's a long day, a long morning. You want to be standing on your feet a bit, so you want those comfy shoes. Red, white, and blue, that's always good to be patriotic. Any sort of pins you might have. We also will be having our volunteer passes that you see here. I brought this one from last year, my little souvenir, to get started. But once you arrive, I'm going to just skip down. Anybody who's arriving with Jeff's team, unloading the vans, sorting tasks to volunteers, setting up barricades, the banners, setting up tents, organizing our phones. This year we do have, depending on your position, we do have these great phones. They're modeled by Ryan, since he's not here today, that we'll have for volunteers that will need those. And I just did a quick
Thank you, AT&T.
yeah, thank you, AT&T. We had a really great meeting and had a really great time testing them, and even had a photo shoot alongside that. Let's take a look too. So this is Worth Square. So that's kind of to the left. To the left here, this is Broadway, and to the right here is Fifth Avenue. So it's kind of confusing because you're saying it's basically 23rd, which will continue here. And that's Madison Square Park, obviously, to the right there. Volunteer headquarters tent, any place that you're going to leave or check in with me, starting at 7 a.m. Generally around this area is a pop-up tent. You'll just go in. This year we're going to organize it in terms of packets per person. So you'll say your name, you'll sign in, and you'll get a packet that'll have any of the details that you'll need. Again, that could be the vest, that could be your credential that you'll be wearing, and then obviously the funds if that's necessary. I'm just going to give you a little bit of and on to Fifth. We mentioned once before too this World War I paternal light Flagstaff. This is generally like the area once you head left towards that. Be where the opening ceremony is as well. So taking a look at our map here, we have quite a few folks. Who's going to be the people who are going to be helping direct traffic and direct people in? So the gatekeepers and the street management.
Yeah,
you haven't been assigned, but you did include in your application, right, what you were interested in. So those are largely going to be all for that too. You're going to take a look here. There's going to be each of these gatekeepers that are going to be towards the ends here. Anyone who's working on opening ceremony will likely come from our Worth Square and enter in for the opening ceremony with Kelly. And then obviously the gates here too. Anyone who's interested in hospitality, we do have photography, right? Yeah, photography in the hospitality and the greeters. Okay, great. So we'll largely be working together. Has everyone had an easy time kind of connecting with all of our materials online? Is it working? I feel like a lot of times I'm just reiterating what you all are. So let's take a look through here. So there are quite a few people that will be for this too going forward. Our mayor's breakfast team. Now this is going to be underneath Kelly for the opening ceremony, so it's a predecessor to the actual event itself. Luckily we have about an hour's worth of lead time. That's about 6 people who would attend that and then come back down to the parade for that opening ceremony and fill in anything if I'm forgetting them. Wreath coordinators, so 2 people that will be helping all of the folks who are clearing the wreaths and putting them into place there. Likely any of the teams that's going to be at the opening ceremony and Mayor's Breakfast team will attend training on site. So how many of you have been to an on-site meeting? Okay, great. So it's really important for all of you to attend. Again, we're on our 3rd of 7, so we do have 2 more. If you haven't already, I've included some printouts there, but of course the schedules are all online. We do need about 10 wreath layers, a stage coordinator, so that's going to be the people who are kind of keeping to the left and right to coordinate the speakers and everything, a stage and VIP assistant. That'll be around the sides and the corners for our setup. So we have about 200, is it 250? 250 people in that area, so that's a lot of people to manage. Talent coordinator, so any of the speakers that we're working with. Press coordinator, there will be people there with cameras as well as video We have a section kind of lined off there for that. Greeter, 12 of them. Usher, that helps people to their seats. And then setup. So who's a setup person? Set up a breakdown? Awesome. So, just as we go forward, we're going to be assigning all of our positions. So I would love to know, and I'll send this out to an email. Anyone who's there for setup, if you're willing to stay later and do breakdown as well, or if you're doing one or the other, just what your preference is for the day. Because you could technically have a break or some time to view the parade as well, and then breakdown and ceremony. So after the ceremony starts and after it ends, that's when you need to break down everything down with Jeff to be able to clear out that section there. Onwards to street management. We looked at our overview just before with Mark and then with myself just now. Street marshals, about 24 of them. Everyone works in pairs, so it's kind of easy to manage that whole street of people. You saw my group. Now imagine, how many hundreds others there as well. So it's, a lot to do to keep them and ask questions or answer questions for all those, and keep the lines for the street captains who pull people out from those streets, make sure everyone's kind of orderly and in the order of march to then direct them and kind of make larger calls for that too. Gatekeeper and security. This is why our event staff badge here is so important. I led my group of Girl Scouts back. We carried flags last year to be able to return them. And this came in handy because everyone's really good about keeping those barricades closed, as well as just keeping out folks that are walking by there too. Anyone who needs to be there, rather. Okay, so route marshal. And then float marshal. That's pretty self-explanatory in terms of the floats. We have larger floats that a lot of the older veterans are on. Information booth. If you're good at answering questions, if you want to, just know, I do a lot of volunteer work. In terms of that, it's usually like, where's the restroom? Where's, somewhere I can get something to eat? Where's the water? That sort of thing too. And also information just about the parade. The history of the parade, again, is the Centennial. So we will have some pamphlets for you to pass out there as well. And then obviously parade rose flow spotter. That means when you have lots of people, last year I had like drum and fife in front, and then I had back to the girls and the Girl Scouts. So that person is going to be the person who keeps the flow of the parade going so that we have evened out, not too many spots in between there. Okay. Hospitality. We have, I say the bus. We know. Yeah. So hospitality, that's where I helped last year too, is to get a team together from VIR to have us kind of be greeters, but also kind of help with any of the VIPs with Kelly. VIP attendants, so this is like kind of to be determined. There's going to be several different parties that'll be there with like probably their assistants or like aides or something that'll be there. You'll be there to help direct, assign to one, and then be there to direct them throughout their parade experience. HQ volunteer specialists, you will be helping me. So if 3 of you want to sit with me all day and help answer questions, help with phones, that sort of thing, that would be awesome. Greeters to the review stand. Now that's going to be on the west side of Fifth Avenue. That's the New York Public Library that's there, 42nd Street, one of the lines out front. The review stand will be that way. You will be there to help greet and put people, them into their places there, which includes the kids. Okay. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. And the kids that'll be marching earlier in the day too. All right, this team, setup, breakdown, and drivers. Setup team, we're looking for about 30 folks. Same for breakdown. We'll be working with Jeff. Drivers to the parade. Let's have drivers from the parade, so that's going to, that's leaving, and also golf cart drivers. A few of you had already mentioned this in the past to me, or you already have an existing person doing that. And then end of parade. So they'll be the people who will head all the way up the parade route, up to the public library, to the banners, and from volunteer HQ to take everything down, put it all together very nicely, and help Jeff load the vans. Communications, media, and admin support. We have last year, hopefully this year, this is like the production assistant, so any of the people who will be helping alongside any of our media. We also need folks for social media team, so if you're savvy with that, we're actually adding that this year. There'll be a tent that's close to volunteer headquarters that we'll work with. And then, of course, we have photographers, so volunteer photographers, to walk the route and then to be able to add to our collection of photos for the day. Question?
Certain number who wants to volunteer, but he needs to sit. And how would you put in, should only be volunteering for 3 hours? Which position should you sign up for? Is there,
I would say volunteer headquarters, so she wanted to volunteer with me that morning, so like 7 a.m. or information tent. But I think that the most local, so that she can get to and from where she needs to be, easiest way to come in and out would be from Worth Square, that picture that I showed you before, where she could sit there. Yeah, that's a pretty good overview. I wondered if anyone has any questions. Have I been thorough? Sure.
what will happen with
So that's a situation we'll deal with if the time comes. Like you said, a lot of these things, if they happen, it will be last minute. There will be careful coordination with every level of NYPD, including counterterrorism. So routes in and out are definitely going to be secured. There'll probably be a heightened sense of security across the parade route. So be prepared. In any case, if you're carrying a backpack or whatever it is, you're layering your clothing and putting it away and stuff, just know that at any point anybody can be searched by NYPD if need be. However, if POTUS does come to the parade, we will have coordination. There will be routes. We will try and do what we can to not mess up New York City traffic more than we already regularly do. So, but I can guarantee you, if something like that does happen, there'll be a police escort. So the timing to get in and out is of the essence, right? So with that in mind, hopefully it'll be a lesser impact. Because of the parade route in particular, we always make sure that there's paths and avenues to get up and out, especially for emergency vehicles already. So if there's an emergency, we'll always have to be able to get an ambulance in and out of where it has to be. So it would be something along those lines. I think the bigger thing is going to be a security issue. Anyway? Yep. Yeah, so as the time gets closer, Ryan's away, but he'll be back. I think last year there were certain particular units like CERT that I believe that we tried to get credentials to ahead of time. So that's something that you want to coordinate with. I know Pat, you have questions?
You picked them up.
Yeah.
You are at the end of the parade.
So I don't see any reason, as long as I'm sure that we're going to have them ahead of time, if you want to arrange something like that, especially with the size of your contingent. I don't see that being a problem. Any other questions?
Being I've never been there before, I'm just curious as to when do we get assigned what we're doing?
This evening. Did you sign up for the volunteer registration?
Yes.
Okay, so you put in, what was your...
I put in a few things, but I'm willing to do wherever you need me the most.
Bring a couple of hats.
Our couple friends.
Need changers?
I'm not really do a lot of my availability.
Yeah, you're not going to be running around. Okay.
But I can walk, I can run.
Sure.
I'm just going to do a lot
I've
of
got
my
hand trucks and stuff. You can put your hand truck up to the water to bring to the floats and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we'll find something for you to do. Don't worry.
So I think the important point is, if you've been to the parade, then it's sort of like you've been to the circus, you know what it's like. A little bit of chaos and pandemonium. Super patriotic day. Everyone's feeling good. It's a celebratory day, unlike Memorial Day. I think what you really need to keep in mind is to know yourself and know what you're capable of. So if you've been to the parade before, again, you know if you're capable of being a street marshal, for example, or street captain. If you're a first timer, you may want to be an assistant to one of those types of people if you want to be on the streets doing things. Again, you need a certain type of personality for each type of job. Maybe you're big with VIPs. That would be great because you're going to have tons of them. You're going to have foreign allies coming in. And you're going to have all sorts of VIPs, Medal of Honor recipients. So if that's more in your wheelhouse than being a street marshal, that's sort of what you sort of have to have as a sense of yourself and what you want to do and what you can do. I would have to say strongest personalities are probably going to have to be people that are on the streets, the street marshals, the street blockers in particular. If you want to bring up not again the street. So just to give you an idea, in particular, probably the most critical time for setup for the parade is as everyone's coming in, right? So as everyone's coming in, they're going to stop traffic roughly 8 o'clock, let's say, and the last few vehicles will come down Fifth Avenue. At that point, all these vehicles that are supposed to be in the parade will start loading into the access points here, right? So what we need, and it seems simple, however, it can get a little bit complex and it can get tense. Because if you have somebody who accidentally comes in here and they're really supposed to be up here, and it's a float, let's say, floats don't really go backwards. So to use some of my Marine Corps terminology, you may be in a circumstance where you'll have to improvise, adapt, and overcome to get them to where you need to be. So if you are comfortable with using radios, walkie-talkies, or you're just comfortable in being in a conversation with several other people to coordinate, that is the type of personality that is needed for these street walkers who basically have a checklist of who should be in those streets into the staging areas. Because that's the most critical, is to make sure that the right people get into and loaded into their streets. Now, once the blockers get the correct people into the streets, then it falls on to the street marshals and the street captains to tell them where exactly to be on the street, to the left or right, or wherever they need to be. Again, the captains will also coordinate as everyone mobilizes. They'll all be talking to each other on the comms, saying, okay, unit number 50 needs to start moving from this street down and in. So it turns into sort of like reverse Tetris. Everything starts falling together, right? So a lot of it is all about communication. But it is also about, if you need to be firm with people, that is the type of personality that's needed here. Because some people may argue, I've been here for 15 years on the same street with my float or whatever it is. And you'll have to tell them in a kind of firm way, thank you for your service, but you're in the wrong street this year. You really have to figure out, what hat you want to wear. Again, and also how much time you want to dedicate, right? So there's some people that are going to be out there very early with just 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning for setup. A lot of these people, I call them point and shoot. Jeff just yells at people and they put up tents and they do all sorts of stuff like it's Legos, right? So all of a sudden everything starts forming. It's simple, but there's many of them as far as the tasks that have to be done, as far as setting up the tents, setting up 250 chairs, going up the parade route up Fifth Avenue and putting banners up along the bicycle barricade, setting up the stages. I mean, there's a lot to be done. It's a lot of simple tasks that all need to be coordinated in a short amount of time. So it sounds like, if you start at 6 in the morning and it's not until 11 when the opening ceremony steps off, when you see how many tasks need to be done in that duration of time, it's not a whole lot of time. So we need to be, we need people to be reliable. We need people to understand what they're getting themselves into. We always tell people, if you've never been involved in something like this, you may want to go to like the Columbus Day Parade, which is before our parade, and just go and see it and get an idea of how things move. Because ours is a much bigger scale, but if you're in the crowd there, you get a basic understanding of what's going on, right? Just be observant and be mindful of what's going on, because the mechanisms are the same, it's just we're a much larger scale. People are moving into places, setting everything up, making sure that things are moving efficiently. And that's really what the parade's all about. So I think we've given you enough information that you sort of have the 30,000 foot view about what you're going to get into. But again, as we start making the assignments now, really think to yourself about what you're capable of and what you want to do and how much time you want to spend, right? Because the other thing is some people are there either just for the opening setup and that's the end of the day. Other people will be breaking down. Other people will be there all day long. So really, you have to think about what you want to do. Just remember, it is about veterans and honoring them. So it's an important patriotic day, and we really sincerely thank you all because we've never been doing anything like this without you.
I was in traffic enforcement. You gotta build a team.
Yep.
And you gotta build a traffic enforcement.
Yeah.
How many lots do you actually have? What?
One use, one voice. It happens every year. Yeah.
We're doing it for a long time.
Got it.
How can you what's the
We are in coordination. We're going to have the next big our meeting with NYPD, with all our higher ups and all the departments. It's going to take place in the next 2 weeks.
I was told that traffic is still.
Oh, so last year, not on Fifth Avenue. In the past, they've actually let people cross the grade up, but last year, I believe the first year.
Yeah, last year was the first year the parade kept on going.
We're freezing
I'll use an example that happened to me. My accommodated person. We let a person cross because of the doctor's appointment. They were on one side, and I let them cross. Everybody else had one cross. Turned into a herd and said, the top of the block walked up to me and said, that's why we don't let everybody cross. And it was the first one. They all have to. After that, it's why we never let anybody cross.
It's not just our parade, they shut down everybody on every parade.
Yeah, I understand what you do. The traffic is always within 2 to 4 blocks. But I think traffic goes through when it was actually great. There was always, you never have to direct the person more than 3 or 4 blocks. You can always tell them, go over 1 block, go 5 blocks, and then the other. So are there going to be certain blocks and won't have their own route? That actually will be we're not going to stop them. We're down to 34, we're down to 47.
That's going to be an NYPD thing. So they're going to determine that. I can't tell you for certain.
No, the person is right. You have people who, if you can tell them that they can only might get some cooperation, if you tell them that they're going to be great, then you can tell them the back.
So I think one thing that's touching upon that's important to keep in mind is, especially if you are a volunteer, you should never be put in a circumstance where you're going to have a confrontation with people. So you can always get in touch with a street marshal or a street captain or somebody with a walkie, and if there is some sort of confrontation or a problem, they can contact NYPD, and NYPD will take care of it. You should never, as a volunteer, be in a circumstance where you're put in a situation, especially if you feel threatened. Right? So your safety is paramount, and so are all the spectators as well. I mean, it's a day of celebration. So again, it goes a long way. We say to people, thank you for coming out and supporting veterans, but so you can do it plus. Not today.
And more of those details will continue to come out, and we'll be able to post them so that each team has notes that they'll have to have the most thorough information. You can, the links are all online, so you can always search back later. So I'll keep like a running kind of log of those.
Any other questions? So the people who are on comms, the street marshal and street captain, they will take charge of their communication system and directly to on the office with this. So generally speaking, if there is some sort of imminent threat that's tremendous, more than likely you'll have to be dispersed away from the radar. However, the street captain, the street marshal, and the clerk team will all be used on that. And basically, you'll have somebody taking charge of the situation. Any other questions? Yeah,
Yes.
So let's say, for example, you're gung-ho and you want to like get out there and Jeff and get yelled at by Jeff at 6
And if you want to,
and then you want to not yell at me.
and if you want to start beforehand too, there are opportunities like I did last year with Kelly. I did a lot of spreadsheets. So if you like spreadsheets or social media and that sort of thing, we can use some help beforehand too.
But there are going to be people that are going to sort of do the entire day, come set up, then maybe work at the grandstand, and then help break down at the end of the day or whatever it is. So you can do multiple hats. That'd be great. Anybody else? Any questions?
I've been an attendee, a volunteer, and now a team. So if you guys have any questions, please let us know. I've had all kinds of experiences. So let me know.
Yeah.
Will NYPD know about the events when you come out and do
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just make sure because, I don't want to do like a ballot. No, they're supposed to come in and be like, oh, I want to do it.
No, they'll definitely brief the big powwow meeting we're gonna have with them. Any other questions? Going on? I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to. So.
So, just one question about the city mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a sign for it?
Not yet. So the line of march is going to be made in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll be disseminating that information. So if you are in a group that's going to be in a marching unit, generally speaking, you'll get an email communication from us, and it'll simply say something like "show up," for example, on 26th Street between 6th Avenue and 5th Avenue. You're in the middle of the street or whatever it is. So you'll have general descriptions of what street to be on between, X street and X street, and where on the street you should be. From there, to zero you in on more, the street marshal will be out there that morning. So if you have any questions,
I think he's trying to do that app too.
Yes.
Whatever he had last year, that app to the groups that watch.
Yep. So last year we did have an app that you could download on your phone and find the unit by a simple search.
So, all these other meetings coming up, are they pretty much the same thing as this, or?
So the on-site meetings, of course, are going to be much different because that'll give you. I would encourage everybody to at least do one on-site if you're going to volunteer on parade day, just because you just want a sense of where everything is. Because on parade day, it's just sensory overload. Because even though you've been there, it's going to look entirely different just because there's going to be bike racks all over the place. There's going to be like things moving all over the place. So you want to be comfortable about like where you are, what your bearings are. So I encourage everybody to come out to at least one on-site. From here, I don't necessarily think that if you attended this meeting that you need to necessarily come to another meeting like this here. If you feel comfortable, if you want to find out more, if you have any questions, you go home tonight and you're like, well, I think I want to find out more about this particular hat or job. You can either contact our team or show up at the next meeting and sort of reinforce what we're already telling you, right?
And we also have Google Hangouts, so you can either call in with a phone or call in with a camera on your computer. So we have that going on. So if you don't want to attend or can attend, you can always attend that way. And each team might have an extra training specific to that. So as Jeff was just saying. Specific to it.
Any other questions? Yep. When the last person crosses the thing.
You mean when the last guy walks across or when I'm leaving?
So we go off the air at 3 o'clock. I would gather that sometime between three, right around 4 o'clock, it's probably going to be give or take. What will be the end of the parade? You have to also remember, 3,000 people are going to march early, so that's going to take up chunks of time that otherwise the parade would be running over. Any other questions?
We can answer how you reach our volunteer team. Does anyone know what that email is? volunteer@uwvc.org. So any questions you have, just send them an email.
Good.
You've had some, you were saying,
Oh.
you were saying that if I know of anybody else who wants to volunteer, go to your home website, the Borough Council website, and you go through there and volunteer, have them volunteer.
Yeah, UWVC.org. So everything's on there. So a lot of the questions that you may read here and think about, check out our website. We're clicking with that, and you can get into the volunteer toolkit, and a lot of these things are accessible.
That's also where you get the merchandise and the food as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm accumulating a whole bunch.
And so this is our volunteer toolkit. So as you see, it can be updated rather quickly. It's all our updated, like volunteer recruitment. So if you click this, it's the registration form that you all clicked on before, where you can put in all your information. So that's the best place. And these videos will be uploaded to this page. Okay.
If there's no other questions, anyone going once, going twice? Let's get a group picture together and then everyone can take off the room.